weeks ago, and he did a great video on it. But the artist that did it requested that I put it up too because he didn't know if it was getting enough exposure. Very excited about it. But again, it's the polarized lens drone flight that you saw, and we're going to analyze that a little bit together. Okay. So here is the footage, and he actually goes back and forth on it, trying to see if he can get it to lens flare. And as I push in and up on this thing and look at it really closely, you can see the orbs. Okay. Now, do I think that these are planets? Do I think that they are sun? What do I think these things are? Okay. Well, what I really think that these things are, if you look really close at this, you can see that there's a little bit of a bite on this second orb right here. So what I'm thinking that these objects or phenomena is I really do believe that this is the false sun and this is the real sun, or one of these two things is the real sun. So it shows us not two planets necessarily, but maybe it still shows and points to the phenomenon that we're looking at. The next thing I want to look at is this. Okay, this is an IRT camera, NASA IRTF exterior of the dome. And watch this, and then we're going to manipulate the photograph a little bit here in a second. This is the first time I've seen this. This could be some reflections off the thing, but there is definitely something over here that I've never seen before. Let's take a closer look. Okay, and now with the magic of photo manipulation, I will try to see if we can see what is there. Okay, well, I bump the saturation, then I play with the brightness. I always do it the same way every time. Just look at the brightness a little bit, and then I contrast it up. So now let's look at that as it moves. And you can see some textures on there and so forth. So just an interesting little take on that thing, okay? The next picture I'm going to show you, and this is the orb that we continue to see in Alaska, again, seen today at the Perryville Southeast location. Not as dramatic of an apparition as we had a couple days ago, but there it is. That's untouched. And just like I do, I'm getting to the point now where I think it's best for everybody to kind of see me do it untouched first, and then you can see me bump the saturation up a little bit and bump up the brightness, okay, and a little bit of contrast. There's actually no photoshopping or anything like that going on here. But again, this object has been seen literally all over the world. It's being seen in all cameras now. And you say, well, when I look up, I can't see it. Well, the reason for that is because they're blocking it with special nanotechnology up in our skies. That's why you see these big chemtrailers going around all the time doing that. So it makes it very difficult. But the difference between an eyeball and a camera is a camera will pick up a little bit on the side of IR and a little bit on the side of UV that human eyes don't do. And you have to look at the specifications of each camera to find that out. But in this case, what we're seeing in these pictures is absolutely either a refraction of an object that does not belong in our solar system or the object itself. Now, we've seen this for a long time. So what it convinces me is that we're trapped. This is the Nemesis star hung in its orbit, per the information that we've gotten from inside sources, that it came in fast and then it slowed down in 2007 through 2012. And from 2012 to 2017, things were pretty stable. We were still seeing the objects on SETI, etc. But as we learn more information, we know now that the star itself is back in movement again. So we have to keep a very close eye on it with the things in mind that we know. The next thing I'm going to show you, though, is quite remarkable. This is from a Skycam in New Mexico today. Check this out. Do you see how the object rotates? And do you see this little doodad right here? That, my friends, I believe is the real object down here. And I believe that this is a reflection of that object on that upper layer of the atmosphere. That's why it sometimes has a lot of detail and sometimes doesn't have a lot of detail. It depends on the angle of the camera. But as you can see, this is a large orb surrounded by a red dust with a hole in it. Next thing I want to look at with you, and this is one of those rare shots. I don't know if you guys watch the all sky cameras, but this is, I think, from Moon Glow Observatory, and they have been clouding this area really, really bad because I think it's an ideal location to view the system. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. The green planet object shows up, and the red object shows up in this particular cut. There it is. Did you see it? See if I can get it back on here again. But again, these are maybe things, and look at how the green thing is behind the clouds there, okay? Now, what's happening is, based on the information that we're getting right now, there is a green object that Matthew Rogers has well documented from the ISS and that we've documented for many months. And there's a large red object out there that we think is the Nemesis Hercules star. And then, as you'll see tomorrow night when we talk to Bob Evans is going to bring us some earth-shattering photography tomorrow. He's bringing us best shots. Bob has been collecting this stuff for a long time, okay? And I think that we're privileged to have him as a speaker at the Thrive Conference in Boise and in Minneapolis. And we're privileged to have, also now, we have confirmed that David Meade is going to be at the conference. So what this is forming up to be is the Titans of Planet X conference, is what it's really turning out to be right now. So make sure you check that out. You know, check out the information. Click on the link below and see if you want to attend that. Similarly, WSO Live, we're putting up premium content every day. There's been, you know, some people have been trying to keep people from looking at our material on there by saying there's nothing there and it's not worth it. Well, I'll tell you something, man. We have no complaints about our content. We might have complaints about some technical issues from time to time, but WSOLive.com has some of the most interesting interviews, pictures, videos, things that you will very, very much value from. Nobody complains about the content on there once they're a member, guys. All right, so let's move on to the next. These pictures just came in hot. I want to put them in this video today. Guys, it's getting so real right now. You know, when I think about David Meade and date setting and all that kind of stuff, the people that we're talking about, guys, the amount of information that is crashing in right now to all the researchers right now. If you go search Nibiru, there's going to be about 1.7 gazillion hits. The information is leaking out. People are becoming aware. The truth is vibrating. That we're coming into a truth vibration, or at least some of us are. And when you see things like what I'm seeing here, this is very convincing evidence. And what this particular artist creator did was they went and took pictures from the UVMet network, and it turns out that we're seeing not just here. Okay, look at this. Look at it move across the sky. I don't know if I got the timing right here. 253, 310. 340. Remember when Jeff P used to say that was like Nibiru, when you'd see that spider thing like that and everybody was saying it was a spider on the lens? Well, I guess they were wrong, huh? Let's take a close look at this object. So anyway, you know, everybody's like asking me like, oh, Steve, if you think the end is coming, why would you want to be a part of WSO Live? Well, here's why. Because we are going to be putting so much information on there in the next 6 months that you cannot miss, okay? We're going to be putting up all kinds of things, how to free yourself of nanotechnology, how to deal with groups, how to do all kinds of stuff, and we're building this content library very quickly. You'll need access to some of these things or find it somewhere else. We're also trying to rebuild our community structure in such a way that people can find each other through the forums and different things that we're doing. So all the things that you see us doing in WSO Live right now are with a sense of urgency and a high cost to try to get everybody as ready as we possibly can get you, while funding the operation at the same time. Do we think it's the end of the world, the end of the internet, the end of everything when this thing starts to blow loose like David Meade and Bob Evans and Father Malachi and all the different people all the way through are saying that 2017 is the year? Well, what is it the year for? It's the year for the appearance of Nibiru. It's the year that we have to deal with it as a race. There was in a book that one artist wrote that talked about the 21 days of deception. When you think about President Trump's trip, we thought about it and considered it deeply. He went to the 3 major Abrahamic religions. Let's just straighten this out right now. He went to Israel, he went to Saudi Arabia, and he went to the Vatican. The Vatican is the center, believe it or not, guys, of all Christianity. You might not like hearing that, Protestants, but all your books come from there. Number 2, he went to the seat of power and central control of the Muslim world. The Muslims, that basically, if you don't know this, the Saudi royal family is the ones that are right now are the protectors of the Muslim faith. because they have Mecca in their country, and therefore the royal family is the protector of the Muslim faith. They practice an extreme form of Wahhabism, which is the source of ISIS terror and so forth. And then the last country he went to with Netanyahu, Jerusalem. So the three centers of Abrahamic faiths, all three of these faiths share the same eschatology, and I would say all three faiths share the same script. I don't believe the script anymore. I believe that that is a deception. I don't believe we have to sit here and take a beating from these gods. I think what we do is we come together as a species, and we do our best to survive this, and kind of know that it's a script, know that it's got a lot of truth in it. But I'm starting to think at this point in time that the whole Abrahamic triad of eschatology is nothing but a huge deception to get people to cow down and not take sovereignty of their lives so that they can be re-enslaved. That's what I think. Anyway, that's just me. So, and I still love Jesus. I still love Christ consciousness, and I'm a practicing Buddhist. But here's the thing. Check that out. Look at this. Look at that cloud formation that is around it. That would be the debris trail behind it as well. You can see how it's like kind of pointing off into different directions there. This is the most amazing photograph. One of the, I keep saying that with every photo. This is the most amazing photograph I've ever seen. This one though is actually showing plasma. It's showing energy. It is really quite amazing of a photograph, you guys, and set of photographs. So I'm gonna end up this video at this point right now and just say, don't forget about the Thrive Conference. Make sure you hit that early discount because the discounts will be gone by June 15th. And if there are seats left after that, then the price goes up. However, we will be having the closed circuit option. We call it the pay-per-view, but really you're prepaying, and then we're going to give you a closed circuit access to it. You'll be able to if you can't travel, you can participate that way. A couple of our speakers, like right now, I'm in discussions with Bob Fletcher and his wife right now to see if we can have Bob come too. But Bob and I are friends. Bob Evans and I are friends. David Mead and I are friends. All of these different researchers that are going to be there are my friends, and we talk all the time, and we share stuff together all the time. So there is a community of call it Planet X Titans that feel very necessary to come to WSO's aid right now because they truly think that I'm. What they're saying to me is that they're appreciating the approach that we're taking to it, and so they want to share the information with us. And I think that's a beautiful thing. We're trying to get Gerald Clark nailed down for closed circuit. We've got a bunch of other stuff going on, guys. You are not going to want to miss that event. Now, let's talk about the spiritual stuff that's coming on this thing, okay? There is going to be a lot of change in 2017, regardless if it's the ultimate event. Do you really think that this is going to be a big event that's just going to blow up on September 7th, 23rd, 2017? Do you really think that's the way it's going to go down? It's a 7-year tribulation. And what David Mead was telling us, it's 2017 through 2024. So will there be a day where everybody's going to know, blah, blah, blah? Yeah, that's what we're probably more talking about. This thing is already here. It's visible in the skies. John Moore said when we saw Nibiru in the sky, which we are seeing clearly, we had 4 to 6 months to prepare. And what's going to happen with WSO Live? What's going to happen with all the work that we're doing? We plan on continuing it through the tribulation period if that happens. That's why we're putting the sophisticated technology into place, because they won't be able to shut us down in the background. This is top secret stuff. So what we are setting up right now is potentially going to be able to defeat and keep us in communication with each other during this time. And that's what we're working on right now, man. And it's not cheap. So help us out, guys. Send us a donation. Participate in a conference. Go to WSO Live. But whatever you do, man, don't let the separation and fighting continue. Now, we had to put a statement out yesterday to answer specific allegations that were made against WSO and Steve Olson. It was not an attack on the people that were attacking us. It was a clarification for our audience who right now needs to trust the Nibiru community. We need to learn to retrust each other and reconcile and share information, not take information from each other. This is not a competition or a marketing contest. This isn't about money or making money. This is about us helping the human race to understand what's going on the best we possibly can, to pull together with our Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, all together as a species now, and not be under the influence of the powers that be, nor under their control anymore. This is our opportunity to break that pattern, and that's what we should be about. We should be about the research. We should be about the information, not about trying to cut each other down. Scott, all the guys over at all the guys that are working on Nibiru Planet X, David Dobbs, any of those kinds of channels, if there's been any conflict, there is none coming from us. But we can't let accusations stand, you guys. We weren't trying to attack anybody else. We just want to make sure that you understand that our intentions are pure. I have tons of people that are lining up behind WSO right now that want to help us, that have been longtime players in this space. Bob Evans and I spent 2 hours on the phone today preparing for our call tomorrow. You do not want to miss the Bob Evans interview, guys. That is going to be unbelievable, the information that he's bringing us. So anyway, last point, love each other. Be kind to each other. Don't try to hurt other people. Focus on your own development. Focus on your connection with Source. Focus on your connection with God. Focus on your spiritual life. Do not outwardly focus, inwardly focus, and then settle things on your own.